Hey guys, Kev here, and we are going to do a disassembly and reassembly skiff bearing swap, well hopefully, on the Growler XL. Now I always like to do this before a drop so you guys know how to maintenance your knife if you get one, and maybe you want to put skiffs in. Maybe you get a hardware kit, accent kit, and you want to swap parts out. This video can help you. So that's the plan here. These are the three that I've kind of hung on to. I have the Wakanda Forever right here with the all DLC accents and hardware and DLC belt satin blade. Absolutely fantastic look on that one. We have the shipwreck camo version right here. Beautiful. I really love this one. Acid wash blade. Dark wash on the accent or on the hardware and the clip, and then copper, bead blasted copper on the accents. Really cool. Digging this one. I probably would have sent this one off to Colin, but I knew he would want the all acid washed one with the brass accents. That's the one I would have kept just so I had a little bit of variation. I didn't have all CamoCarbon versions, but I knew he would love that one, so I sent that one. And I wanted him to really love this model because I got to tell you guys, I've been carrying these three now for the past week, week and a half, whatever it's been. And I absolutely love the Growler XL. This might be a top 3 Divo for me, which is, in my opinion, extremely astonishing because I don't normally like knives that are 4 inches on the blade length and 9 1/4 overall. But there's just something about the way this one fits in my hand, just melts. Like it's tall but thin. It's got such a good large choil. The jimping is right there. It cuts amazingly. I've done a lot of cutting with it. I put up a bunch of like child-proof stuff in the kitchen, and I had to cut off like the ends of the plastic straps and stuff. I've had to cut some zip ties, cardboard. I had to cut a doll out for my daughter and get those little tiny little plastic zip tie things out. And it like maneuvers all that stuff, yet it's a monster. But then at the same time, it carries extremely well for a knife this size. It feels in the pocket like any other folding knife I carry. Like, it doesn't feel huge and obnoxious and heavy or anything. I weighed these in my other video. I think it's like 5 ounces, but it doesn't really feel like 5 ounces. Kind of seems like a lot to me personally. Not for a 9 1/4 inch knife, but for a standard EDC, I usually like 3 ounces or less. I don't notice the difference with this. It carries that weight really well. It's super comfortable to fidget with. It's actually fun to fidget with. I really like rolling it out, and you can hear it just, slap open when you open it. It drops shut, but yet it's so controlled and smooth. I've handled all 8 versions of this knife. I asked White Mountain Knives to send me every version. You guys saw it in the last video. Every one of them was dialed in. Like, none of them felt any bit off. Like, I didn't feel like a weird closing sound. I didn't feel like any kind of jank feeling. I didn't feel like bearings. I didn't hear the bearings rolling. Like, usually there's something like a tappy clip. There's just something, a little bit of detent lash. Like, nothing. They all felt and feel solid as hell. And I'm really happy about that. They came out great, basically. And I love this knife way more than I expected. I expected to just be like, here you go, guys. Here's your XL. You guys wanted a big boy knife. You got it. And then I would forget about it. Like, I don't care, right? Like, I care. It's a Divo. It's a Growler. I'm excited. But, like, I'm not going to carry this after the review, after the drop. But yes, I'm going to carry the shit out of this. I love this thing. Here's the standard size, just, so you guys can see. And then here's the mini. So XL, standard, and mini. And I'm telling you, I love the mini. I love the V3. Can't wait for this to come out. And I'm sure when this comes out, I'm probably going to say this one's my favorite. But as of right now, guys, the Growler XL is my favorite growler. It is just, I don't know. I love it. And it is a slicey beast. Look at that thing. This thing would be really nice in the kitchen, honestly. But anyway, let's stop yapping about that. And we can get into it. So just in case I didn't show this, this is the box. I love the design we came up with for this. King Kong. No, I'm just kidding. It's Gorilla. He's drinking out of a growler. White Mountain Knives over here. Gives you the version right here. Purple Flow CamoCarbon with DLC Belt Satin. It's 154 cm. And then inside, you are going to get a sticker pack. I don't know why this is in here. I think I put this in here because my plan was to put this Blurple kit on here. But I've already changed that plan, I think. So you're going to get a Divo sticker. And you're going to get a Growler XL sticker. These came out really sick, dude. Look at him. He's got his dumbbell and his growler. He ain't messing around. He's a beast. You know what I mean? And then you're going to get a wire clip. It should match the blade. There might be some where the finish is different than the clip you have. And that's because they can't do that finish or whatever. But it is what it is. This one's in DLC, I believe. You get a little Divo cloth. Of course, you'll get a big Divo cloth with it as well. And you'll get a little bit of cellophane that the knife was in. Okay? So, just want to show you guys that. That's the packaging. All right. It's going to be T8s all around, I believe. But let's double check. Can't always remember everything I do. I think there's a special thing in this pivot that we're going to see for the first time. But let's see if it is. It might not be happening yet, but I think this was the first knife that was going to have this feature. Let me see. Don't see it yet, but I don't think you would see it from that side. One thing I want to note is the screws. They're a little bit bigger, obviously. The pivot's bigger. The collars are bigger. These body screws have a little bit of a bigger head on them. So she said, I really like that. I like that size screw. You can see there. Hey, that's how you take it apart, by the way. Sorry, that was funny. I'm using the bead blasted screwdriver here instead of my satin one. I had this one as a sample, and I accidentally dropped it today and chipped it a little bit. So this one is mine now, apparently. So I loaded out the base, got that all ready to go. So I can, use this for a little bit. I like to put my little Wera bits in here. These are the ones I've been testing for a while now. They have a holding feature, in case anybody's wondering. I get these on KC Tools. I think it's just kctool.com, or just search that. Maybe it's on here. They sent me this bit for free as like a thank you. KC, I don't know. But they sell all kinds of bits. You can buy them individually or in sets or whatever. But this Wera bit, you can see, you can tell which one it is by this white or bluish white tag on it that has the 8. So if you're trying to get the same one here, here's like a little number. If you want to look that up. The HF stands for hold feature, I believe. And it basically has the end of it set up so that it sticks inside the tooling so that you can hold your screw better. See how good it holds that? So now you can put it down into something. You can put it in the way you want to and then tighten it. It won't just fall right off. Or if you want to put Loctite on it, you can do that. I really like that feature. You just have to be mindful that you press in. So if you just put it in like this, like that, and you barely get it in there, so she said, it will cam out easier or spin. But if you get it in the tooling straight and then put some pressure on it, it will lock in that bee and it will not want to come out of there. You'll have to yank your bit out. Look at that. Okay? I love that. So obviously the trade-off is sometimes it sticks in there, you know. These screws are all DLC, so they're going to hold up a lot better to any type of disassembly compared to PVD, which is going to be basically showing the standard like metal color after one disassembly, unfortunately. Here's your giant liner. We obviously switched this over from the prototype to a tab lock. On the prototype, they had full liners. We did not want that. We're big fans of inset locks. So the only liner on this knife is this tab, which is locked down by all these screws. You can see the clip screw and then the two body screws and barrels. There's a tab here as well. Big old lock bar. Might as well clean that off. And then one other thing we updated, and we updated this because on the mini growlers, we had one or two QC issues where, not QC issues, warranty issues, where customers would reach out to me and they'd have a little bit of like lock rock or something and they couldn't figure it out. And then ultimately we'd find out the stop pin was loose. And it was only in certain materials. Basically, the stop pin was like wearing out the material where it was going into. Because there's no liners, it's not going into steel. It's going in right into the carbon fiber, right? So if the stop pin is stronger than the material, it can kind of wear it out. It's rare, but it happened. And so I wanted to address that. So we added these little tabs in here. So now the stop pin goes into a steel tab and then into the material. Well, I guess it's just the tab, really. So that'll be updated across the board on newer designs. Anytime we do something like this with no liners, you'll see these tabs in there. And I think that's a good way to do it. Now, I'm hoping the feature I was going to tell you about is in here, okay? So let's see if I can get this tab out real quick. See, it wants to come out. So how funny would that be if the tab didn't come out? You'll see why. So, all right. So this does not have the feature yet. Okay. So it must be on the Saloon, maybe, might be the first one. I'm not positive. But basically, going forward, you're going to see two holes right here. So we put two little holes on either side of the pivot. And we did that to get the collars out. Because the more knives we sell, the more we're realizing that sometimes these collars get stuck. We've already had Kubey like try to shrink them a little bit so that they fit a little bit easier. But no matter what we do, there's going to be like changes in temperature depending on where you are, whatever. And these collars can get stuck. And when they get stuck real good, you basically can't get them out. I mean, we've had cases where we've had to like Dremel them out and essentially we end up ruining the whole scale. So we wanted a way to get the collars out without too much trouble. So what we've done is put two holes on either side through the back, and that'll be carbon fiber, titanium, whatever. And then you would just need a tool, like a paper clip or whatever, and you could just put it through the hole and poke the collar out. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I thought it was in here, but I guess not. So see if I can get the collar out of this one. And usually you can smack it out like that or whatever, but there are cases where you just can't get that sucker out, and we wanted to address that. So I apologize, that won't be on the growler, but it'll be on, I think it should just be anything from Kubey going forward. It won't be on the Lush or the Pony V2, because I don't think either of those have collars, and those are Riot. So I just want to take it all apart and I'll show you. That collar just fell out. So usually you have less trouble with CamoCarbon. It's usually titanium when you can't get these suckers out, because CamoCarbon has a little bit of give, you know. Here is the captive notch. It's an interesting looking one. It looks really shallow. Look at that. That's crazy. Let me see how this looks in there. I guess that doesn't matter. What matters is how thick that notch is. And that notch is thick. Okay. So they actually did it better by thinning that out. I like that. Okay. I probably asked for that, but totally forgot. So here's the opposite side of the carbon fiber, you can see. So it's about the same. This side's contoured, so you can see it shows it better than this side. That's not. Anything else to note on the inside? We have our, I guess it's proprietary, right? I don't think anybody else does this. It's our nut, basically. It's our little nut that we use so that you can put a clip on the other side. So because there's no liners, and on the lock side you have just the tab lock, right? So it's the lock bar that mounts in here. Well, then you can have threads in that, and that's how that clip mounts. But on this side, if you don't have liners, where are you going to put the clip screw, right? Especially on carbon fiber. On titanium, you can just screw it into titanium. But on carbon fiber, G10, whatever, what are you going to do? Well, we have this little nut. So we've done it a few different ways. We had, I think on the Buzz, we had like a tab. And then on the first Tallboy run, we had this, except Kubey did it circular, and it had like jimping all around it. It's kind of like a coin, you know what I'm talking about? And unfortunately, if you torqued it enough, you could break it free. Now, it's very rare. Again, we only had that happen like once. But we wanted to address it, so I asked them to make it like a nut shape, like not like a squirrel nut, like a, you know, like a nut, a bolt and a nut. I think Medford does that on their clip, actually, but Kubey just did this kind of D shape. They said that was enough, and I was like, whatever, it works. So you have a D shape there for that nut, and that's what holds the screw in if you're switching the clip to left-handed, or it just holds the placeholder screw. So you guys have seen that before, though. All right, let's figure out the bearing situation, and then we'll talk about what color we're going to do here. So I think these are going to be larger bearings because the knife is so big, but we'll see. They kind of just look like 5 mil. Let's see. So 1/16, 3/64. Okay, so they're 1/16, right? And then our pivot is 6 millimeter. So you're going to have a 6 mil 1/16, which means that we might be, I don't think we're going to be able to squeeze in multi-rows, but if we do another run of these, I'm probably going to ask them to make this pocket a little bigger so we can use multi-row skiffs. Let's check that out. I'll put these suckers in there. No, just kidding. So I need 6 millimeter 1/16. Sorry, my nose is getting all clogged up all of a sudden. Still getting over something. So here's an example. These are the ones I would like to fit, but I don't think will. And then these are the ones that are probably going to fit, 13 ball ones, okay? The 18 ball multi-rows, they don't have a chance of fitting. Those are way too big. But real quick, I'm just going to rule these out. Don't think these will fit. But again, on a future run, if you guys buy this knife, which I hope you do, I think this knife, I think it's going to surprise people how useful and amazing this knife is for people who like any size knife, like me. If we do another run, we'll probably add the front flipper like the V3, and I'll have them open this pocket up a little bit so we can fit these multi-rows, okay? So put these back, and we'll use our 13 ball. So we would have got, 3 extra balls, 6 total. That would have been nice, but we're still going to be getting a lot more than on the stock bearings. So if you look at these bearings, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bearings in there, and we have 13 in here. So you have 9, 13, that's 4 bearings extra, times 2, that's 8. We have 8 extra bearings in this knife compared to the stock bearings. Even though the action is incredible the way it is, but, it is what it is. So here's what you want. Pause, take a picture, whatever. I'll put it in the description, but just want you guys to know. Set those aside. And now I'm just going to do a quick clean. Just take some rubbing alcohol, and I'm going to clean our washers. These tabs are basically our washers. If you are going to swap to Skiffs on this knife, I would recommend you do it right away. You don't have to do it like the first second you get the knife, but I wouldn't carry it for like a month and then swap it to Skiffs, because those bearings are going to start wearing a track. And then, potentially it could be less of a benefit using Skiffs. Now, these tabs are actually DLC'd. So on this example, they're barely wearing a track yet. You can see the ring, but it's barely there because of the DLC. But on pretty much any other version, it's going to wear a little bit faster than that. So I'm just going to clean the pivot screw. This pivot's pretty big. Should be able to drive my T8 in there. Just clean that out a little bit. Take my pivot. Now, some people are going to ask, why didn't you do a T10 or T15 on the pivot? Well, the reason we don't do stuff like that is having it all T8 is really nice for people. I disassemble a lot of knives, and it's annoying when you have to use like 2, 3 different bits to disassemble a knife. And so when at all possible, we try to keep it the same. And unless you're doing something stupid with Loctite or super glue, a T8 should never be like stripping out or whatever, So T8 is plenty in my opinion. All right. And just for shits and giggles, I want to see how much this blade weighs. Since it's a 4-inch blade, the blade weighs 2.2 ounces. So this blade by itself weighs about like a little bit less than either of these knives. Like this full knife, which I think is like 2.5 ounces or something. All right. So we've got all that. Now we have to decide, right? What color do we want to go with? Well, obvious choice here is purple. I wanted to show you guys something. So I need to get that screw out. There we go. So in the future, whenever we do these Wakanda Forever versions, I'm pretty sure they're just going to be purple now, the accents. I think more people would prefer it to have the purple accents from factory than people who want the black. There are people who want the black. But if we took a vote in the comments, which feel free if you want to, put your thoughts, I think more people would vote to have the purple than the black. So it makes more sense to just give the purple, and then the black can be an add-on. You can buy a black kit. We'll make sure we have enough. As of now, we really never sell black kits, and we sell a lot of purple kits. And whenever we do this, I end up putting purple on the Wakanda Forever. So that tells me we should just do it. If for some reason there's a lot of pushback and people want the black back, then we'll switch it back, obviously. But the next few knives, you're going to start seeing the purple come back, I think. After the, I think it's going to be after the Pony V2, but we'll see. Whenever I say stuff, I'm already like three models ahead. So, you know. All right, so we have a bunch of options. These kits are going to be different prices. The copper or brass, these are going to be $30 because you're just getting the collars and the back spacer. You can't do a clip out of brass or copper. It would be too soft. So these are $30. All the titanium kits are $35. We think this is extremely affordable for kits. If you look at other people's prices, I think it's a great price. And you can still use 10% code, so it's really like $32 for this kit in titanium. You get collars, pocket clip, and you get a back spacer. You do not get a pocket clip screw, so just keep that in mind. You're going to use your hardware that came with the knife, okay? So we have copper and brass. We have blurple. We have satin. Is that what this is? No. Yes. No. Yes. Satin. Sorry. We have this color, which I think is DLC. It's kind of like gray looking. So I think it's this color. Oh, wait. That can't be right. I've actually been struggling to figure out what these colors are. Yes, it is. It's just the light, man, and the bags. Pretty sure it's the same. See that? So it's DLC. So you can buy DLC hardware kits if you would like. Purple. This is satin, I guess. So wait, what was that other one? Man, I did this last time. Maybe they just sent me 2 satin ones on accident. Let's open these up and take a look. Usually it's not that hard for me to figure out what I'm looking at, you know? That is satin, pretty sure. Is it? Let me see the other one. Make sure that it looks like it almost looks like something like gray. I didn't order something like interesting like zirconium or something, did I? Now this one looks darker. Look at that. Are they the same? Or is one darker than the other? I think, man, it's really difficult. So this was the one out of the first kit, right? And then this one was in here. Give me a second. Let me pull up the order sheet. Okay, you guys ready? Purple, bead blast brass, blurple. So purple, blurple. Bead blast brass, bead blast copper. I thought I asked for Stonewash brass, but whatever. Satin, regular DLC. So there should only be those. So I think they just gave me 2 of those satin ones, and I'm just having a hard time with the lighting or something. I don't know. But that'd be interesting. Or maybe are they both DLC? No, that's DLC for sure. So is that first one. And then, of course, there's Zircuti, which I wanted to show you guys something, because I think it would look amazing if you took Zircuti. Now, I think it's going to look good on pretty much anything. You know, it's freaking Zircuti. But if you took one of these and put it on this one with the Damtanium, I think that would absolutely set that off. I don't know. What do you guys think? I really like how the Blurple looks, so I'm like hesitant to swap the clip, you know, but let's just do it and see what it looks like. Yeah, see, that looks pretty sick. It definitely works because it matches all the colors, right? I mean, it would work on here too. I've seen people do it on purple. Obviously, this is going to be absolutely amazing on the reverse tux with the DLC polish blade and the DLC polish hardware. The Zircuti is going to absolutely shred on that one. I'm not going to use the kit on any of these right now. I usually save those for a special occasion. It's always good to have a Zircuti set laying around. And I really love how that Blurple looks. It just pops to me. All right. So let us actually put this sucker together. Sorry. I get really excited and just love messing around with all this stuff. So hopefully you guys like that too, because you're stuck here while I do it. So we'll put this pivot in. You just got to put the notch in and then make sure your DK is faced like this, and then it should notch into the notch. You get a double notching, little double notching action. Here's your stop pin, by the way. It's an absolute tank. So you need that, obviously, for a big-ass blade like that. So let me get my carbon honey. We're going to use the medium on this one. So I'm going to take the thick carbon honey, and I'm just going to put that along the detent track. Now, it's going to take a little while for that to break in because, well, it's a mammoth of a blade, you know. All right, sorry, it's DLC. It has nothing to do with the size of the blade, you idiot. All right. Take some of this medium and get that on my Skiffaroonies. If you guys are going to use Skiff bearings, head on over there, skiffworkshop.com. Use the code LeftyEDC. That will save you 10% on your bearings, on your finger bit, on your test fit card so you know the size you need. It'll save you 10% on everything on skiffworkshop.com. It won't work on, obviously, Skiff-made blades. That'd be sick if it worked on their customs, but not so lucky, are we? And as a lot of these Chinese companies are now making their own solid caged bearings, I think it's even more important that we support Skiff and what they're doing. Their bearings are still better They make them out of phosphor bronze, not out of brass. And they've spent years perfecting the art of bearings. So I will always recommend Skiff bearings. And I think you guys should use them too. So let's pop this on. I didn't forget anything, I don't think. Okay. Pop that on. And then I'm just going to take this cloth real quick because I might have got some oil up in here. Just clean that pivot one more time real quick. Drop our pivot collar in. Oh, wait. Idiot. I didn't actually swap the... Sorry, guys. I wonder how many people were screaming like, Kev, you gotta swap the damn kit, son. So now I have a purple hardware kit here to swap out. I actually like the DLC because these are the only clips that I don't destroy. Like, you guys already saw that Blurple clip has a big scratch on it. Where is it? I saw it. There it is. Yeah, scratch. I jack up the clips. I only carried this one a couple times, but yeah, there's one. But dark wash is a good finish too. Like, this one's probably totally wrecked. Color's gone. It's scratched everywhere. And that's what happens to, you know, just standard ano. So one thing to keep in mind when you guys get these, you can see the color on it looks a little faded. If you just take a little bit of alcohol on a cloth or something, just wipe it down. That usually helps a lot. You can also use like Windex, but that'll bring the color out a little bit better. It's just, you know, it's coming from the factory. It gets a little bit of this and that on it, oil, dust, whatever. Then it goes in a Ziploc bag. I have been asking Kubey on the, I think starting on the Growler V3 and the small boy, I started putting polished in parentheses after all the accents. So like I put purple anodized clip and I'll put polish. And I'm hoping they will actually polish the clip, then anodize it, and we'll get like a real pop of purple, the way you see on some anodization. And that's the difference, I think. It's just taking the time to basically make it satin and then polish and then anodize it instead of just blasting it. That's what they do. So anyway, before I get distracted again here, okay, so we got one collar. Nope, we got one collar, two collars. We have a backspacer. And we have a clip. So this is the kit. And then we can put that into the bigger bag. All right, and I usually just put that in the box so I have it if I ever sell this or something down the line. All right, backspacer is on there. Yeah, it already looks amazing with that. See if that stays on. I need the collar here. There we go. I'll probably just real quick spray a little alcohol on this cloth and just wipe the collar to get the color out. Just set that down a second. DK. Yeah, I just love the combo. What's going on here? Ah, well, that'll explain it. Doesn't want to go in the pocket. There it is. Okay. Loving that DK. Take my cloth, just clean the back. Doesn't really matter. The sides don't matter because I'm not going to see that. You can see the difference immediately there. It's not always as easy or as simple to see, but the backspacer really showed it. Clean this collar. Let me clean this clip again. It's looking a little bit dull. Okay. All right. Put this on. I'm going to switch our stop pin over to here. Like so. That's everything. Put this collar in. Grab our screw. Not going to tighten that down much, just want to get it in there. Then we have our body screws here. So you just need to remove the body screws and the pivot screw to get the knife apart. The clip screws are going to be holding either a liner or a clip in. So let's put the clip on. Drop it in. It's amazing how I can make these videos so long, isn't it? Could do this so much faster if I just didn't ramble, but I like telling you guys stuff. Holy shit, that looks good. See, this is why I just prefer the purple, you know. I just want purple on it. That's all I'm going to say. Let's see how the centering is. Perfect. Looks amazing. Fire it out. Feels good. Play, rock, nope. Action. Feels good. No lash. Let that detent, I gotta let that oil get itself in there. Whoops. Break in a little bit. I mean, it sounds good. Let's see. Yep. Phew, man. Dead centered. That's nuts. Yeah, like I said, these have just all been really nice. Spot on, you know. Let me see what happens when I take this out. I always clean it one more time. I know I've cleaned it twice already, but I just put oil everywhere, so I like to get in there. I also never hit it with a T6. Get a T6 in there. If I can get a little deeper, that's what she said. Pull that out. Nope, not really getting anything. Clean the screw one more time. I got a little something there. All right, so now I'm just going to check. Am I getting the same awesome centering and everything when I tighten this down? Centered. No lash. No play, no rock. Dropping like it's hot. That's just sick, man. I'm probably just going to Loctite it because, you know what? There's no reason to super glue it. And I'm going to tell you what, I don't even need it because, like, I have to break that to get it to loosen. So I don't think this would walk anyway, but I always like to be sure. I do like to fidget. Not as much as I used to, though. Just to protect my nails a little bit, you know. My nails got really beat up there for a while, so I had to stop going nuts fidgeting with knives. Okay, tighten that down. Dead centered. Man, look at that. And these bearings are just going to break in, which is the amazing part of skiffs. Man, it's kind of scary, actually. Just going to keep breaking in. Yeah, I mean, it's tight. It's just what it is, you know. Damn. Yeah, guys. I'm really impressed with Kubey on these. They did a great job. I really hope you guys give this one a shot. I know it's a little bit out there for us, you know, being serious for once. It is out there for us. We haven't done a knife this big before. And that's because Colin and I personally don't prefer large-ass knives. We prefer smaller knives. We're both guys who like a 3-inch blade, you know. But enough people had been asking for a large knife. You know, we did the tall boy a couple years ago to give you guys a 3.5-inch blade. That was the biggest knife we'd made before. And people loved that. And, you know, I kind of was thinking it'd be cool to just do an XL of something. And the Growler was the first one that got the treatment. And I couldn't be any happier with how it's come out. I really did not expect to fall in love with this knife the way I have. So, to me, this knife is more a story of my journey with it than, you know, the worrying about selling them or whatever. I think once people get these, whether they sell right away or not, once people get them, I think they're going to see what I see, which is an absolute banger, you know. It is 154 cm, you know, and they're all under 200. The highest priced one with a code, it comes in at 180. I think that that's fair. Again, it's a huge chunk of everything on this knife, and that does cost more. That is why the price is a little bit more. When we come out with the Growler V3, we're going to have 154 cm and S90V options. And, you know, we'll see where those prices land. It's going to depend on the cost. It always does. And prices do increase over time. So, you know, we have to adjust for that as well. But we made an adjustment at the beginning of this year, and we're hoping we can stick with that. And we're charging a little bit more for each finish based on what it costs us. And that has helped us offset some of that as well. And it makes it where you guys can choose if you want the finishes or not. You can buy it at the base price or pay that little bit extra for the finish that you want. And I think that that kind of makes it fair for everybody. But, yeah, I love this thing. That's the bottom line. And holy shit, it looks good with purple, doesn't it? And it just reinforces my thinking that we just need to go back to, I don't know if we ever did it, the Wakanda with purple accents. It just looks better, guys. That's, you know, it's going to be hard to change my mind on that looking at this. So, yeah. But you can do whatever you want. That's the beauty of why, you know, that's why we do things the way we do it. We have all the kits so you guys can make your mind up. Maybe you want zircuti on the shipwreck for some reason. Maybe you want to pop some copper accents on the damtanium for some reason. I don't know. Maybe you just want something a little more boring, like whatever this is. I really don't know what this is. I don't think it's satin. This is satin. I don't know what that is. But you guys can decide. Maybe you want the DLC on it because you don't want to mark it up the way I do. And that's a great reason to use the DLC kit, honestly. Maybe you want Blurple on your purple. Dr. Seuss. I really did think about putting the Blurple on there. I think it would look good. But, because, you know, that's like lavender or whatever. It's in between that purple and this blue or Blurple. So I think this would look really good on here. But, you know, I need to keep the theme going. I have so many. So I'm going to shut up now. I love you guys. I really appreciate you. The drop is tomorrow at noon Eastern time. I hope you guys pick one up. If you guys have any questions, hit us in the comments or shoot us a DM at divoknives.com. Or sorry, at Divo Knives on Instagram. Info at divoknives.com. You can also DM me directly, LeftyEDC on Instagram or LeftyEDC88 @gmail.com for email. We will answer those super quick. If you leave a comment on this video, I may or may not see it by tomorrow, so just keep that in mind. I do not mind you guys reaching out via email, and you're definitely sure to get a quicker answer that way. So just letting you know. Yeah, I hope you guys pick one up, and I love you. Hope you have a great day. Peace.